a good mentor is never giving you answers. They're helping you find the answers, a skill that I'm working on as well. But I think that's one of the keys is helping you find that path and giving you the breadcrumbs that you need to get from point A to point B instead of just picking you up and setting you down at point B.
Yeah. Some of my best mentors have asked great questions. I actually had a book over in the corner that had, it's like almost having the point to ask great questions seems to be one of the most powerful skills, and not have all the answers. I don't know if you think that might be one of the limiting factors sometimes within the profession, is that CIOs are expected to know all the answers because they're supposed to be technically the smartest person in the room. But what happens if you don't know all the answers?
There's definitely been that expectation for technical leaders, because we're in a niche that typically business leaders feel, unless you're in a technical business, it's something that's a bit of a foreign language to them. So for a long time, there was that expectation of, well, you're the IT guy. Do you not have the answer? And now, as CIOs, CTOs, whatever title you want to put to it, have started to become more accepted at that leadership table and in the boardroom. They're starting to understand across the entire executive suite, oh, well, you're one of us. You're trying to take the information that you have available and make the best decisions possible, as opposed to just always having the answer.
Yeah, I love that. Now, one of the questions I had for you was about, to look at my notes, was kind of, do you do an 80-20 analysis? Do you spend Sunday in preparation for your week or Friday in preparation for your following week, looking at what's the 20% of my time that gets me 80% of my results? Is that kind of thinking go into your mind as far as how you allocate your time resources?
It has to. So it most definitely does. I don't always sit down with pen and paper and write it out with any specific level of detail. But all of us have more people asking for our time than we have time available. And then, the new projects, the existing projects, the follow-up work that needs to be done. Yes, you've got to take that time and look at what you have coming down the road. It's every Sunday night. That's what I do. I sit down and I look at my schedule for the upcoming week, and I decide, okay, what things are ironclad? These have to get my full attention. Which ones are the nice to haves that I think could bring value now or somewhere down the road, versus which ones are things that simply are not going to be beneficial either for myself or for whoever might be the prospect at the time. I speak often to when we're bringing in new vendors, which in IT roles, we're constantly evaluating new vendors and new service providers. Their time is just as valuable as mine. So I need to make sure that I'm being honest to them that I'm sorry, this week is not going to be a good time for me to give that to you because I've got this other bucket of things that really are going to provide the most value for my team and for my company right now. And it doesn't leave enough for some of the other activities.
Now, in regards to your team, one of the things you and I talked about was things that you're passionate about. You feel that fall into that superpower / it's a major thing that you spend a lot of time on. And you mentioned teamwork, team development, and that might also blend somewhat into our mentorship conversation we just had. But I'd love to get your thoughts on the importance of teamwork and what elements of teamwork do you try to foster and within your own organization?
So watching a group of people come together to work on something and be successful is one of the most exciting aspects of my day-to-day job. I love bringing highly skilled people together. One of the things I always say is, to build a team, it's my job to hire really good people and then get out of their way. The key to that, though, is helping them to understand how their way aligns to departmental goals, and then how those departmental goals align to business strategy and business vision. Being able to connect all of those pieces is what drives the engagement of those great people that you bring in. And the more you drive that engagement, the more they want to continue to be successful, the more they continue to drive themselves to achieve more and do more and be better. And for me, then it becomes the role of making sure they have the tools that they need, making sure that that road is clear. I've often used the analogy of, my role is to be the bulldozer. I've got to make sure that the road is clear of obstacles so that they can come through then and just lay it down, doing the amazing work that they do. That is so important to the team building aspect and helping them to enjoy working together. And again, I love watching that happen.
When you say that the alignment of departmental, is it clear? So within your organization, you're saying that do you want to make sure your team's aligned to the departmental goal? So if finance has a project, then that they've asked IT to be a part of, or you've solicited this to be a part of, however that happened, you want to make sure departmentally they're aligned to that project, and then that finance project has a bigger impact on the organization overall. And then the obstacles you're referring to, are they kind of organizational? Well, let me start there. Is that what you mean by that?
It absolutely is. They've got to understand that they're not just being given a task to be given a task. What they're being asked to do is for this project. In your example there, finance has asked us to do something. Okay, great. Well, we understand now why we're doing this, but what's the next step? And a lot of teams, I find, are not given what that next step is. They don't understand, well, why is finance doing this? And having someone who can sit down and say, well, finance is doing this because it then fits into this larger piece of the puzzle that then fits into this strategy that we're trying to do for sales, for development. All of those pieces have to be in place if you're going to drive the engagement and the success of your team. So yes, you're spot on with that.
So it's not sufficient just to say, here's the project, go get it done.
I tell my teams that if they were to work with me for a decade, they might hear twice, just do it because I said so, because that just can't be a part of a highly effective, highly efficient team. It's going to happen from time to time. There's going to be things that pop up that you just have to get it done and you don't have time to go down the full touchy-feely visionary rabbit holes of it. But on the whole, if you want to have successful, driven, energized teams, they need that whole picture.
So it's really explaining the why.
Yes,
okay.
You hit on it exactly. There's several authors out there right now that have built entire careers around this concept of finding a why, going after the why, defining the why of what you do, because the why is what gives people purpose, and purpose is what gives people energy and drive to continue what they're doing.